Well, you know, people send a lot of money to Washington, D.C. They ought to see a little bit of it come back and be spent in ways that are important. We know that most of that money is quite often spent someplace else. It's defending the country, it's building highways, it's, providing a safety net for people. But again, when you've got something that's historically significant, in this case, the dam was over 100 years old. And was originally built actually to, in connection with the cement plant there, to provide water. It was never big enough to do that, but it became the centerpiece of what was really an historic park, one that was important in knitting Ada together, one that, frankly, there weren't a lot of other places in Oklahoma remotely similar to it. So, again, the idea that we could save something that's an integral part of our heritage here in Oklahoma, and do it in cooperation with the city, I think, very good thing.
Thanks to the help of a local congressman, one of the oldest structures in Ada has been preserved for future generations to enjoy. The Wintersmith Lake Dam, originally built more than a century ago and a key component to beloved Wintersmith Park, was in dire need of repair. Because the entire park is on the National Register of Historic Places, City of Ada officials spotted a federal grant opportunity.
Your facility or your area has to be on the National Register in order to qualify for the Save America's Treasures grant. You basically, if you're not, you have to apply and be accepted on the National Register, and then you apply for the Save America's Treasures grant. So we had everything in place. We had the Water Resources Board, which had determined that it was a definite safety issue. The age of the spillway qualified, and we were a National Historic District, so we met all the qualifications and guidelines to receive this grant funding.
The Save America's Treasures program is a federal government initiative to preserve and protect historic structures, arts, and published works. The program started in 1998 and continued for approximately 12 years. Near the end of the program's run, city officials approached U.S. Representative Tom Cole about the prospect of obtaining funds to rehabilitate historic Wintersmith Lake Dam.
Well, it's a really terrific piece of legislation that allows us to identify historically significant monuments, locations, structures that are in danger of disappearing and being lost forever, and then get grant money and actually save them. And quite often these are not only important historically, but they're still functionally important as well. So anytime you can save a little piece of American history and do some good work at the same time, that's money well spent.
Representative Cole worked with city officials to obtain the grant before the Save America's Treasures program expired. The grant, which requires a 50% city match of funds and/or labor and materials, was awarded for $246,000. Those funds enabled significant work to be done to a very old and very important physical structure.
Well, this is a project to replace the what they call the toe of our apron below the Wintersmith Dam. Apron is the bottom of the spillway where the water comes over the spillway and breaks and goes downstream. And of course our dam was built in about 1907. So it had deteriorated. The Water Resources Board, during their dam safety inspections, had identified that as a need for Ada to correct. The old base of the spillway, water was going behind it, dropping down behind it, and undermining the edge of the dam. So that toe of that spillway pushes it out about 30 or 40 feet and drops the water downstream and keeps it away from the bottom of the spillway. Because if you come right down underneath the spillway, eventually it'll erode down to the bedrock and the dam would fail. So this basically was a safety issue. Of course, we're inspected every year or so by the Water Resources Board, and structurally it's good. There are a couple of seeps in the back, which is fairly common for an old dam. Once we get this grant completed, we're going to go in and look at fixing those seeps and repairing those. That actually was potentially a part of this grant, and that portion of it exceeded the funding, So we actually pulled that portion out. It was a very small portion of the grant in order to get into the correct amount for grant funding. We pulled a couple of small items out, and the city's going to go back and do those. But structurally, the dam is safe. It's sound. The Wintersmith Park area is a drainage basin for a large area of Ada, so a lot of water comes from a lot of different areas to Wintersmith.
Of course, the dam is more than just a structure to hold water in place. It also holds a special place in Ada's history, in many ways helping collect memories for generations of Adans to cherish and share. Built more than 100 years ago as a water supply for a local business, it was quickly deemed too small for that purpose and slowly transformed into the crown jewel of a very unique and beautiful park.
The dam itself, again, is quite unique. You won't find anything else like an urban park like that in a comparable community any place in Oklahoma, and it's almost accident that we have it. Again, it was not originally developed to be a park site. It was originally a working industrial site, and to see something like that turned into something as lovely as that park and as historic is really quite a treat for all concerned. So to be part of an effort to save it, and the effort is locally rooted. It's the local people doing the right thing to protect something unique in their community. That's a great privilege for me as a member of Congress, and I know Senator Inhofe worked on this as well. But end of the day, it was Vision and Ada that built it, that turned it into a park, and that saved it.